Welcome back to the final instalment of the series, but hopefully the start of a hobby that can last you a lifetime. Over the weeks, or days if you've been binge watching, we've put together a community of fish that should live harmoniously and provide you with hours of relaxing entertainment. Hopefully you've got through the hardest days of your new tank, the perils of new tank syndrome, and you've emerged with an understanding of tropical fish and how best to care for them. Today we'll add the last fish to our tank and look at how to cope with those inevitable times when you have to leave your aquarium to look after itself. As fishes are so diverse, it's good to have something slightly larger as a contrast to the small shoaling tetras and danios. There's no shortage of options, but some of them, such as angelfish, are rather inclined to snack on small tank mates. We need a fish that's colourful, interesting and fairly placid, and for this we've gone with gouramis. Gouramis are a popular group with some very large and very small representatives. Typically they get sold to us as pairs, but not one of them is naturally monogamous. It's more to do with the more colourful males being easier to sell than their more modestly coloured females. All of the commonly encountered gouramis are best kept in groups made up of one male and at least two females, in planted tanks that enable them to get out of sight of one another. For smaller aquaria, the best choices are the trichogaster gouramis, such as honey, thicklip or dwarves, although dwarf gouramis can be prone to health problems if not carefully sourced. The larger gouramis need more space and can be stroppy, but this is easily managed by giving them plenty of room and places to hide from one another. Smaller gouramis have colour differences to distinguish the sexes. With the larger ones, a difference in finnage is the best indicator, and males have longer, more pointed dorsal fins. As our aquarium is large enough, we're going with a colour form of the blue gourami called an opaline gourami, one of the hardiest fish in the hobby and an old favourite. Other suitable choices in the Trichopodes group include the larger moonlight gourami and the quietly beautiful and more peaceful pearl gourami. As always, we'll test the water and follow our standard introduction procedure to give them the best possible start. They'll be shy initially, but they should soon settle in. Meanwhile, we'll look at ways that you can holiday-proof your aquarium for those times when you need your fish to look after themselves. Using a plug-in timer for your lights is good practice and ensures a routine day length. It's always good to rinse filter media before an absence to avoid any chance of the filter blocking while you're away. Installing an air pump with an air stone will give a backup in case of filter failure. Fit, healthy fish won't suffer from missing the odd meal, but this is an area where there are many options available. If you're going away for a weekend or more, here are some of your choices. If you're fortunate enough to have someone reliable to feed for you, a little training can be all they need to carry on the normal routine. The most common problem with this approach is overfeeding, and it may be wise to hide the main food containers and either leave labelled portions prepared or use tablet or pellet foods. Written instructions and the phone number of a reliable fish shop are a worthwhile extra precaution, and can help prevent any complications caused by Googling advice. Consider leaving a first aid kit consisting of liquid ammonia remover, a bacterial starter, and perhaps a spare heater. A more high-tech approach can be taken through the use of electronic devices, which can monitor aquarium conditions and inform you of any irregularities via phone apps. You might also wish to install a webcam for peace of mind. At the other end of the scale, there are slow-release blocks and pellets that give your fishes access to food over time, or even automatic feeders that rotate a hopper on a timed interval to dispense an adjustable amount of food. Speak to your store about the suitability of different blocks and pellets, as this is an area that's more to do with the size and quantity of your fish rather than the volume of your aquarium. Power cuts are another source of potential concern, and although a drop in temperature is often the main worry, loss of filtration is the real issue. In the event of a power loss of more than a couple of hours, turn off your filters and give them a rinse before power is restored. Filter bacteria need the oxygen in recirculated water to survive. Without it, they'll employ a few survival strategies that might make the water in a static filter harmful to the fish. If this happens while you're at work, it's not the end of the world, but you might just find a little blip in your water quality and perhaps an outbreak of a stress-related disease such as white spot. Adding a bacterial starter can speed recovery and, as ever, the solution to pollution is dilution in the shape of a partial water change. As we've seen before, systems running on hydro units will be spared water quality issues due to the loss of bacteria. As tropical fish are happy at temperatures similar to us, a drop to room temperatures can be endured briefly by most species. For more extended periods without power, sealed bottles of warm water can be floated in the aquarium and the whole thing insulated with a blanket or similar. Again, watch out for disease outbreaks after this kind of period of stress. Although they can be distressing to both fish and Fishkeeper, a power cut isn't a disaster as long as things are handled correctly. Hopefully this project has given you a good basic understanding of the pleasures and pitfalls of keeping fish. We like to think that it's a hobby that can last for a lifetime and has many known benefits such as lowering stress and aiding relaxation. From here, you might find a particular group of fish appeals, or you may wish to take your basic community setup in another direction. If so, the important aspects are the same: water quality and compatibility. If in doubt, speak to an experienced member of staff in store and feel free to draw on the success of others. I hope your fishes continue to thrive. For the time being, thanks for watching and happy fish keeping.